Hi there guys, Megan Ryan JC, Ryan James Cropper, and in celebration of a new course that I've recently released on my website, I'm going to be discounting the Shadow Integration and Trauma Healing course. Very much like how I discounted the Astral Projection course at $10 some months ago. Now, the new course that I'm releasing is called the Emotional Reset course. It literally gets rid of the emotional baggage that you've built up throughout your entire life, along with a lot of the psychological ways of expressing said emotions. The irritability, the PTSD, all of those behaviors are coming from a lot of turmoil, a lot of grief, a lot of unresolved emotional issues. Baggage. And so what the Emotional Reset does is it basically gets you to trigger said baggage through a series of elemental rituals, dealing with water, fire, and air, breath work, bath work, otherwise known as rebirth work, because essentially it's putting you back at a reset, it's rebirthing you and putting life back into you. Now, to make more sense out of that little putting life back into you phrase, when we get emotionally bogged down, we tend to lose our lust for life. We tend to become distracted internally. And thus we become quite detached from life. Everything seems grayer, less fun. And so when you deal with these emotions, life begins to feel new again. The course is a little tough. A large part of it does deal with you inducing panic attacks. If you've got the Shadow Integration course, then a lot of the meditations and tools within that course will help you out with the Emotional Reset course. And vice versa. A lot of the things that I mention within the Emotional Reset course will help you out with the Shadow Integration course. They do kind of play hand in hand with each other, and so this is why I'm discounting both of them. I'm gonna put the Shadow Integration Trauma Healing course at £20 and the Emotional Reset course at £10. Alright, so you should be able to buy them both as a package at a very, very low rate. I'll be doing this for a little while, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, a little longer than I did with the Astral Projection discount. The Astral Projection discount was discounted for 7 days. It was like a flash sale. And without further ado, I'd also like to go into what I've written down here, which are some very fast ways of integrating your ego and your shadow. The ego is literally parts of your personality that you put down as a kid, teenager, or adult. Okay? These parts of your personality can come up randomly if triggered. For example, let's say you used to act like very gangster, right? Very cool, right? Around your friends. And then all of a sudden school ended. And because of the responsibilities of the world, you were forced to grow up pretty fast. What that looks like is you start to put on a new personality. You start to create a new persona, a new mature personality, right? That you identify with as a grown-up. Well, let's just say that as an adult now, you're no longer around your old friends. But one day, whilst you're out shopping, you bump into one of your old friends. Yeah, you're going to shift into that cool mode, right? That's known as an ego, okay? An egocentric person is someone who's very loud with their personality, with their energy. And so this is just an untimely aspect of your expression that you've involuntarily brought up and expressed out in front of your friend through a high five or a fist pump or anything, some type of lingo that not many people are used to seeing you express. Now, we got this weird condition in this society where we tend to judge the ego and make it separate from us. Like, my ego got in the way, and we just don't really want to take ownership of these sides of ourselves, and we do it acutely. The mind is very sneaky. It's not healthy to do. This creates splits within our personality, and it stops us from integrating these parts of ourselves. Now, the reason why it's so bad, these fractures, is because every time you deny a part of your consciousness, you are chipping away at your consciousness, becoming less and less aware as you grow up. It's kind of like losing pieces of your soul. So in this sense, it's a soul retrieval, but you're going inward and you're dealing with the many years that you've spent during this lifetime, your life right here. If you're 23, you're going to be dealing with the fragmented aspects of your soul that you've defragmented throughout your 23 years here on Earth. This does not deal with past life soul retrieval or the more higher end aspect of receiving aspects of your soul, like higher self and so forth. Nevertheless, this is definitely really, really important because it deals with how you're expressing yourself in this reality, on this timeline within this lifetime of yours. What you do is you write down on a piece of paper all of the excuses that you've told yourself or someone else whenever you've acted out of character. Yeah? So whenever you've said something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm sorry, my ego took hold for a second," well, you write that down and you just change the "my ego" to "I got in the way for a second." Yeah? And when you say that, after you've said it, you just sit with it and you feel it out. Now, if you're the type of person who thinks, well, this isn't going to work, trust me, this is just your ego or a part of you that is afraid of integrating because it's afraid of disappearing or dying. And so it's making you come up with these excuses to stop doing the exercise. I actually saw someone do this in a session once, and it was pretty funny because I saw it coming. So whenever your ego tries to prevent you from further probing into the structure of your mind, revealing these different aspects of yourself, try it out anyway, because heck, what do you got to lose, right? If your ego is saying it's not going to work, then okay, well then we got nothing to lose. Let's try it out anyway. And so another one you can write down was, my ego was talking. You ever had that in a conversation where you go back to the person later on, you say, sorry, my ego was inflamed, or my ego was talking? Just change those words to I was inflamed, or I was in a inflamed response, or I wasn't talking very nicely, rather than saying my ego wasn't talking very nicely. Take ownership of these parts of yourself, because at one point within your life, you were these aspects fully. And remember, for some reason, you were pushed out of that aspect, perhaps because you had to grow up faster than usual, or you chose to make a change to your personality too quickly. My ego was running the show. I was running the show. I hate my ego. A lot of people hate themselves, right? And if you just got triggered a lot there, please don't turn off the video. There are parts of you that are uncomfortable with yourself. Now, I used to do this term when I was about 17, like really getting into my psyche, where at the time I would say to myself, Ryan, don't bullshit yourself. And so that would be my meditation. I'd sit down and say, Ryan, don't bullshit yourself. And I'd go into my mind and I'd be really honest, like blunt with how I am and how I feel and what I'm doing. This helped me uncover a lot of stuff that I was in resistance to. Okay? I don't use that terminology anymore. It's kind of... I'm too happy to swear. That took a lot just then. And so where you put I hate my ego, you can just put I hate myself. Don't bullshit yourself. Be honest. If you hate parts of yourself, just lean into it and be honest. And then you'll be able to uncover more about yourself. Why do you hate yourself? What's going on there? Are you comparing yourself to other people? And if so, is that needed? Do you hold yourself accountable for things in the past that you now regret? Are you hating that part of yourself because he or she said something or you did something? Do you really need to be doing that? Could you give yourself a little bit of slack? Benefit of the doubt, maybe. And so this is another thing which is pretty cool, because if you are the type of person who's going around saying, I hate my ego, then guess what? That sentence is just a stepping stone that's going to help you resolve a lot of issues within yourself. And when it comes to the integration aspect of all of this, as soon as you say I instead of my, you'll notice that you feel more complete. It's literally pulling and shrinking that gap between you and this side of yourself. The shadow self is the same way. A lot of people don't want to take responsibility for a lot of the things they say and how they feel, and even being angry sometimes. And so they'll push it to the back of their mind, creating a shadow. It's not separate from you. You were it at some point in your life. You thought it was okay to act that way. Even if it was badly, you took responsibility in that moment within your past and you expressed it that way. However, now probably behaving in those ways no longer agree with you. right? And so you're like, I don't want to act like that. That's not me. But then deep down, if you're pushed hard enough, you will act like that because still it's a part of your personality. It's just it takes a little while to get you there, you see. And so to integrate those aspects of ourselves, we just need to accept the fact that we can go dark side. And succumbing to our dark side and owning it is the perfect recipe for an integration. Once you accept and you say stuff along the lines of, my shadow is misbehaving, or I've been misbehaving, it then opens up your mind to a whole bunch of things, bunch of content there. Why was I misbehaving? Well, honestly, it was because I had a bad day. So you wouldn't have known that you had a bad day, which led up to you misbehaving, if you had not taken responsibility for this side of yourself. You would have still been in resistance, thus keeping your mind pretty closed to the reality of your situation and how you feel. So this is a good way of getting to know yourself as well. Okay. So write down all of these excuses. These are excuses that your ego are using and these shadow aspects of yourself are using in order to negate your process of integration. The reason as to why these parts of you want to negate the process is because these parts of you don't want to feel uncomfortable. When you go there to these states, these shadow states of these ego states, you'll notice that they all feel very uncomfortable, emotionally distressed. Okay? A large part of the separation isn't just on your end. They're also separating from you because they know that if they push you away from it, it will give them a moment of relief, because when you're like how you are now and you're not addressing different parts of yourself, you're not feeling angry anymore. You're not feeling upset or resentful. You're not feeling any negative emotion on the surface. Underneath, these different parts of you are. And so when you get closer to it, you're shining the light on these parts of yourself, the emotions will become expressed even more too. When you integrate with these emotions, you'll feel into these uncomfortable energies that your shadow is holding on to, being angry all the time. That part of you that's still angry, you're going to feel that. It doesn't want to feel that. So it's going to push you away sometimes too. Okay, so it's going to be pushing you away so that it gets a moment of relief from amplifying how it feels, from addressing how it feels. And you're going to push it away through judgment, and so forth. Other ways of not accepting these parts of yourself. So that's it. That's it, guys. Try this out. I'm Ryan James Cropper. Subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos like this. And don't forget to check out those courses. They are intense. They are not for the faint of heart. They are adult spirituality courses. Okay, these courses are online video courses. So you watch them, you get given a password, then you get access to your videos. All right. That being said, if you're particularly young, it would help to do the meditations in the course with some guidance. Maybe do it with a team of people, 4 or 5 individuals that can help you, that can help support you. Maybe have a couple of the individuals not actually partake in the course so that they stay mentally stable whilst you're spiraling into these different states of emotional uncomfortability. Yeah, so I'm Ryan James Cropper. You can find these courses on ryancropper.com. I'll speak to you all pretty soon. Peace.